Hello, everybody. I hope you're alive, and if you're not, you better buckle the freak up, bro. That was stupid. Hello, everybody. I hope you're alive, and if you're not, you better buckle your seatbelts because it's about to get crazy. This behind me is a giant food truck. It used to be a FedEx truck, and then they painted over it, and it was auctioned off to the person that is now commissioning me to paint it. They don't want to get it wrapped. Instead, they want me to paint it. Crazy, intimidating, but that's okay.
Connection terminated. I'm sorry to interrupt you, Elizabeth. If you still even remember that name.
I'm gonna just cut myself off right there because that intro was way back in May. It's October now, and a lot has changed, okay? And I'm so sorry that I left you for so long. But during that time period where I was not present, I was in fact painting a giant food truck that took me the entire summer. And I was out there in the early mornings and the late evenings. Anyway, and since this project took me so freaking long, I only recorded like the prep. So this is why you have me here to yap. And also Eli's back.
Kill me.
So everybody say hi to Eli. We missed him. We did. Snaps. Except he's gonna hate me
I already hate you.
for the amalgamation, whatever the freak that word is.
Amalgamation.
This combobulation of this video. Thank you, Eli. You're the bestest. I will get you trolley when I don't have $2 in my bank account. I need a phone or my computer. What am I doing? I guess I'll grab my computer. Even though it's not very nice and aesthetic for me to have my computer here, but also my background isn't the most aesthetic right now, other than this painting I'm working on, so. Alright. So, I recorded most of the prep, like I said. Some parts of it have me talking, some parts of it don't. That's up to Eli to figure out what he's gonna insert and what he's not gonna insert. There was a black rim around the window on the right side of the truck where there's like the sliding door to walk into the food truck, and I thought I was gonna try and take some paint thinner, maybe like try and get rid of it, thin it out, or just paint on frick, I can't speak English. I also need to stop moving this. Black rim, paint thinner, no work. Okay, so I just decided later that I was just gonna paint over it with primer and then actually paint colors around it, and I think that was a much better option than trying to just keep the black, because anyway, along with that there were decals on both sides of the truck with their name and logo and stuff on it, but that stuff had to come off in order for me to paint on it. So I borrowed my dad's trusty dusty heat gun that will literally burn the flesh off of your hand if you point it at yourself. So don't do that. And basically, I had no idea what I was doing, so I would heat it up and scrape it, and heat it up and scrape it, and that took me way too long. And it was super annoying, and it wasn't working super duper well. And it wasn't until the end, after I'd been working on it for several hours, that I discovered the strategy where I could heat it up and then peel. It was a whole thing, and then I ended up doing it better on the other side, and it only took me like an hour or less to do it, instead of the 3 hours that it took me to do the other side. Of course, part of the prep work is making sure you don't get paint on all the areas that you don't want to get paint on. I took paper and tape and taped off all the metal parts, or just in general places. I need to learn how to speak clear English. I taped the windows. I taped the pull down shelf thingy off so that I wouldn't get paint on them. And then, to save myself work, I only taped off. Good Lord, I cannot speak. Okay, how do I explain this? I only taped off like the top part of the metal border around the giant window, the top of the bottom part, and then the top, because I'm good at avoiding the sides, but I didn't want it to just drip onto the metal because gravity. I don't know if that made any sense, and I am so sorry. But moral of the story, I was too lazy to tape everything off, so I only taped the spots that were high hazard areas. Oh my gosh, it's so warm in here. It's actually time to bring out paint, except it's the primer, so it's not as fun. It's just white. I'm painting white on white. I got some good primer to make sure that all my paint and all my hard work will make sure it sticks onto the truck, especially since the truck lives outside. And I want my work to be preserved. So I cut in around all the edges, so like the top of the thing, the side, around the window, around all the metal borders of things, and that's what you do, right? You gotta prime it all so then you don't get paint. It's just like if you were to paint a room, you gotta paint all the corners and stuff like that, because you can't really get in there in the nooks and crannies with a roller brush without making a mess, especially since I don't want to get paint on the metal parts of this or anything like that, or the windows, so I have to go in and cut around all the edges, so then it makes it a lot easier for me to just roll the rest of the paint on in the larger spaces. So after way too long of doing that and having to do a couple of coats of that in certain areas, so then I actually got coverage of the primer where there wasn't already paint on the truck, because they had to paint over all of the old stuff on it in order to auction it off, so it didn't have a different brand on it or whatever, and then the person that commissioned me bought it, whatever. There were some parts that were not fully covered that I needed to cover with primer because it didn't already have paint on it, so I had to go over some parts of it a couple of times. And then I was finally able to take the roller and roll in all the big spaces, which is my favorite part. And I also definitely sealed in several gnats and tiny bugs on this truck while I was rolling and doing all the fun stuff. And then finally it was actually time for color. The thing is though, I had to cut in all the edges again, and we know how I feel about that. It sucked. It was worse. The whole truck is yellow. And if you don't know how yellow works, yellow is one of the worst colors to get full coverage on. It doesn't like working with you. And at first on camera, it looks like a super duper mustardy yellow. It is not that mustardy of a yellow. It looks great. Trust. So finally, after I cut in the edges and did like 3 coats of all the edges again because it's yellow and I wanted to make sure I got everything, I was finally able to roll it on. And I did 2 coats of the rolling on, just like I did with the primer, just because the first coat it gets it, but like you want to get a second coat just to make sure it's all nice and good, you know? And then herein comes the I stopped recording. Like big, like actually like my sideways. Instead I was recording for Instagram most of the time, just for updates, etc, etc. I have some of them where I actually did side views because I would send them to people, whatever. So this is when Eli is going to have so much fun, just putting them like over here, the clips. Here is the original outline and design of what I sent to the client, and what the client was like, oh yeah, this is good, and this is the final thing. I went into a lot more detail with the different kinds of plants instead of just like lapping them on there. On the side where it's like the serving side, so that's where that big window is, that pull down shelf tray thing, the sliding door, etc, etc. That is a part that has kind of the most detail and variety in the plants, because that is the side that people will see more. And this side didn't have like a filled in big ray, but I still wanted to have that 2-tone color difference. So instead, I took a grocery bag and I crumpled it up, dipped it in the paint wet onto it, and that's where this texture comes from. It's kind of hard-ish to see, but that's where that texture comes from. And then there's the main sun part with the chicken in it, because that is their logo, and so the chicken is in the sun, and yeah, that's how that works. And then for the outline, I literally just scribbled with a pencil, and then I went in with a layer of all of the base colors I wanted on all of the parts, so it looks very sloppy in this clip that I'm showing it off. It's because I just wanted to make sure I had the base down, got what I wanted, and stuff like that. And then from there, I went by section by section by section, and then detailed it all, and then went down the way. And that was my whole process. And each section took me like anywhere from like 2 to 5 hours, just depending on the design, the area, etc. Like the Joshua tree took me a while. Something that I bought that was like a huge help during this project was this brush right here. It's a little disheveled currently, but it is a square brush. It doesn't look like a square right now, but the brush is a kind of a cube shape like this, and it makes drawing outlines and lines significantly easier. This was what I used to do the outline on the chicken and what I used to do the most of the chicken, and then I use this to do the outlines of the rays and just like bigger plants and stuff like that, because this is just so perfect. And I used it for doing the big lettering on one side. This was just a lifesaver. I freaking love this brush. 10 out of 10 recommend if you're on your list or do very large projects where you need something that can outline very well. I love this brush so much. Bestie, for sure. Also, something that I am ultra proud of is the fact that I freehanded the chicken on both sides. I did no outline or anything. I just looked at the photo and I freehanded it. I don't know how I did that, but I did because I am magical and full of wonder. Okay. I also posted on my Instagram throughout this whole process and made reels, photos, just random things on my story. I need to compile it all and put it in a highlight, but if you want to see like that kind of just those weird snippet progresses and stuff like that, it's also on my Instagram where I also explain in reels and stuff like that what I'm doing. And I gave updates and stuff like that through the process of doing the food truck. I also did designs on the front and back of the truck. I did paint like a big cactus on the back of it. I turned the propane tank into a cactus as well, which I think turned out really cutie. But yeah, when the day finally came that I was able to rip off all that tape and all that paper, and I signed it and everything, it was phenomenal. Phenomenal. I was so happy. Lots of feels, lots of joy, lots of happy. I'm sorry I didn't like completely record the process of it, but I'm so glad I was able to get some clips for you, and I'm gonna sit here and yap, and I'll make it all available in one spot on my Instagram, so you can go and check that out. Anyway, yeah, I hope you enjoyed my yappy explanation and just clips of my chaos and all that fun jazz. And hopefully I won't abandon you this long again making YouTube videos. Because it's funny, Eli messaged me and was like, "Are you dead?" And I was like, "I feel like it." He was like, "Are you still gonna do this?" And I was like, "I want to." And I was like, "Here, I can send you something." And he's like, "Oh, yay." Okay, now I'm just droning on and yapping way too much. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope you have a fantabulous rest of your day. Bye.